All right, let's do this. I think being aware of your mental well being or unwell being in this case is super important. Here's why. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Brandon Aries, and welcome to the Sanctuary. Earlier this week, I did not feel like myself. Once again, I was low on energy. I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I absolutely hated the thought of going into work. I hated it so much that earlier this week, I called out of work because I didn't want to make it worse. But there was one thing in particular that made me notice all of that happening. My room. For me, my room is like the ultimate telltale sign that I'm going through a depressive episode. Let's rewind the clock a little bit, shall we? Back in 2020 with the lockdown, one of the ways I helped fight my depression was by cleaning my room. Nothing was ever on my floor. I mean, my room was practically spotless. And if there was something that I put on the floor, it would be gone by the end of the day. But I realized in my worst times, my room was an absolute mess. So when my room is a mess, I'm depressed. Even when I wrote that, I had no intention of rhyming, I promise. And I decided to do some research on it, and studies have actually shown that a messy room can actually indicate in children and adolescents a connection between that and depression or other mental health symptoms. So my room usually looks like this, but when I'm depressed, it turns into this. One therapist I had said neglecting to take care of your environment can be a reflection of neglecting to take care of yourself. Here's a physical example. This week, I've kind of been a little lazy with my beard, and it's grown out a little more than I usually keep it. Another thing that happens is that I tend to indulge just a little more. I start to fall off my diet. Now, don't get me wrong, I always try to make room for fun foods that I enjoy. Skittles, I'm still waiting for that sponsorship, by the way. But when I'm like this, I tend to eat more, which makes things worse because when you're sad or when you're upset, your cortisol levels tend to rise. And cortisol, as we already know, is the hormone responsible for stress. So higher levels of cortisol usually leads to people overeating or binge eating. And in times like this, I'm almost constantly grabbing food. As someone who used to be about 80 pounds heavier, you would think that I would want to avoid that at all costs, right? No. No. Now that I've kind of ragged on myself about what happens when I'm sad or depressed, I wanted to share some things that I do that kind of help me get out of that in progress to make myself feel better. The first one's an obvious one. Clean up my environment. That means cleaning my room, my space, my studio, my sanctuary. Just that sense of being clean and having a nice room and a neat studio setup makes me feel good about myself and have good vibes already start coming in. Once everything's cleaned up, I try to put some of those feelings toward my work, which is why we're here right now. I also try to eat clean with just a slight moderation of the foods I enjoy, because unfortunately, this is part of who I am. You don't have to eat super clean to see results. Have a good balance and add things that you like to make it easier in the long run. Lastly is a little bit of a wardrobe thing for any of my fashionistas out there. I try to wear my favorite color. As you can tell, my favorite color is orange. The reason why I do this is to sort of trick my brain that I'm not sad. Reverse psychology. Gets him every time. I may be the only one here, but I feel like we all get a good feeling when we're wearing our favorite color. Like we know it looks good on us and we strive with that. People also tell me that orange is the color of my aura when they see me, if you believe in that spiritual stuff. The reason that I believe in that is because two of my favorite characters of all time always are wearing orange. Goku and Naruto. Now, yes, I know both characters are fictional, but what they stand for is real and inspiring to me. To have an impact on everyone they encounter and to push those people to be the best versions of themselves is a way of life. A way of life I try to carry in my own life and on these videos. And to be real for a second, I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't hard being in front of the camera right now and sucking it up for this personality. But I have a job to do. A service that I owe to all of you. And you know, these videos don't just help you, they help me too, because I have a place where I can be transparent and honest about how I feel. And I can express myself in a way that feels comfortable, I guess. I mean, you look around, there's no one here. I'm not talking to anyone except for this camera. But I look at that camera as if I'm talking to a best friend or someone I truly care about. I care about all of you. And there are some times where I just need to express myself for once. Sometimes with content creators and influencers, you don't really see them peel the layers back in their videos, the layers that make them visible, the layers that make them vulnerable. And I want to strive to be one that peels those layers back and you can see me in my entirety. There's no moral this week, just some advice. Be aware of your mental health. Do whatever you have to do to get better, whether that means calling out of work, not hanging out with friends, or just sleeping or watching TV for a little while. Whatever works for you. Just keep your room clean. In all seriousness, I hope you get better. And I love you. See, when I wrote that I wanted to cry, and now saying it, I want to cry even more. So thank you for that. That is a wrap on this week's video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I was able to give some perspective, some transparency again. However, if you enjoyed me talking about my depressive episode, or if it helped in any way with someone that you might know, please be sure to give a like. It's always appreciated here in the sanctuary. For mental health, dating, and everyday life advice, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. And next to that is the notification bell for every week this lonely lover boy is on your subscription feed. Check me out on Twitch every Wednesday night from 7 to 10. Me and my two buddies were doing Fortnite again. It was a lot of fun. I think we got 2 or 3 wins as well, so that was a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to make some TikToks out of it too. And remember, if I didn't see you this week, I'll see you next week. But to be updated on when I post new videos and when I start to stream, please be sure to follow my socials, my Twitter and my Instagram. Again, links will be in the description below, as well as everything that I use for each and every video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace.